Okay, let's review this game. So e4, e5, and we have Italian opening. Knight f6, knight c3, bishop c5, d3. So far so good. Bishop g5, and the white is pinning the f6 knight. So h6, kicking the bishop, bishop h4, bishop e7. So this is a typical method. Black can defend the knight and also unpin the knight. And we castle d6. So h3, white is also defending g4. This is good. So now the position is quite balanced or equalized. So the pieces are quite similar when it comes to position, basically, and also the pawn structure. They are basically the same, the pawn structure, right? And the position of the knights. And the difference is black has a light square bishop at ca, white has a light square bishop aiming at this diagonal. And if we compare these two bishops, I think the c4 bishop is better than the c8 because it's more active. It aiming at the black king. And if we compare this to bishop, the dark square bishop, this bishop is more like aggressive, and this one is defensive. So yeah, the queens, the rooks are at same position from both sides. So the next question for white or black is, where can we attack our piece, our opponent? Should we attack on the king side or should we attack on the queen side? And that's a good question. So if I play as white, I will start thinking about attacking on the king side because, as I said, if I look at the bishop is targeting at this diagonal and also this one. So all the pieces that the two bishops are aiming at are at the king side. So which means if we attack the king side, it would be much easier. And the next question is how. So usually if we want to attack our opponent, we need to open files or open diagonals. And in this case, maybe push the f pawn could be something to consider. We have a rook at f file. If the f file is open, our rook and the bishop can work together to aim at f7. So now I think our plan is getting clear. We need to find a place to move our knight, either to h2 or d2, and later, if we have a chance, we can push the f pawn. So I think that looks good, but it also depends on how would our opponent move the pieces. So in this case, black moved bishop e6, and also as I said, the c4 bishop is better than c8, so black offer an exchange. So if you feel your opponent have a piece that is better than you, and if the two pieces have the same value, like both of bishops have 3 or 3.5, offering exchange is a very good way to like minimize the advantage of your opponent. And even though after the exchange, black have double pawn, but black can have something as compensation. One is the c4 bishop is removed. Another thing is black has an open, semi-open file. And also the pawn from f file to e file, the pawn is getting closer to the center. This is also a good thing. So bishop takes, well, I think taking the bishop with the knight is a little, I don't, how to say, I don't think that's necessary because, I mean, I don't think the knight is better than the bishop. So if we want to try, we can do that later. So, and also usually a bishop is better than a knight if the position is open. For this game, it's not open yet, but I can imagine the position will be quite open because black's going to push the d pawn probably, white can push the f pawn or d pawn, so the pawn exchange will happen, which means when there are more and more open diagonals, the bishop is better than a knight because bishop can usually control many more squares than a knight if the position is open. So trading the bishop with a knight is a little bit too early. So if I play as white, I will still consider maybe opening the f file is not the best case anymore because this is already a semi-open file but for black, and also our light square bishop is not there. But maybe I will think about more about open the d file, maybe rook queen e2, rook d8, and attack the center. This is also something good to consider. So take rook e1. Well, rook e1 is not necessary in my opinion because the e4 pawn has no attacker, and also this e file is quite closed. So we move the rook to e1 doesn't do anything, and also it makes f2 pawn like having one fewer defender. d5, black is like, yeah, opening up the center or control the center. Rook c1, queen d7, queen e2. I will move queen e2 first and later rook to d1 straight away because I mean the c file, I don't see any chance to open the c file. There is knight in front of pawn, the pawn in front of rook, so the rook is not very helpful at the c file. If we move the rook to d1, at least black cannot take the pawn because after the pawn exchange at e4, the d file will be open, and if we have the rook at d1, white can utilize the open file. The rook to e8, protect e file, rook to d1. Yeah, that's good to move the rook to d1. Knight d4 after exchange. So black always want to find a way to open up the center or make the position more open because black has a bishop. Bishop to h4, attacking f2. Yeah, so I think white is going to lose either the knight or f2. If we have the rook at f1 instead of e1, the f2 problem is not there. So yeah, so maybe push the e pawn is a little too quick. Maybe move the knight to b1 and later to d2, f1, g3. We can find a way to maneuver the knight. But after e5, bishop h4, yeah. So in this position, black become better, and also after losing the pawn, black can win something more. So now black is way better. c5, protect d4, knight h4. Yeah, the knight h4 is not good move. It attacks the rook, but actually this move helps your opponent to make the rook to an even better position to the second rank. And so if white to defend these two rooks, it should, yeah, place a knight at f file with this pawn or even the rook queen to defend the f file. Hopefully you can get, I can't say white can get a draw, I cannot guarantee that, but this is something we need to strive for. So knight h4, rook f2, and yeah, after these two rooks controlling this second rank of the f file, white doesn't have any chance. G. Yeah, rook f2. So yeah, so the rook will take all the pawns at the queen side, and black is going to have a queen. So yeah, we don't have to walk through the rest of the game. So I think the main thing we can figure it out is we can learn is first of all we need to think about how can we launch attack, which side, the king side or the queen side should we attack our opponent, and then we need to come up with a plan. So and also the second thing is about piece exchange. So like this, bishop to f6. So we have to give us a reason when it comes to exchanging pieces. For example, is this piece, the knight is better than ours, or is the position in general gets better after the exchange? So we need to have a reason. In my opinion, bishop to f6 is not a good trade for us. And also moving rook to e1, I can understand we want to develop rook, but actually the rook to e1 and also the rook to c1 later, these two moves with the rooks are not the best move. yeah, but I also feel like impressive that we realize c1 is not best position, and we improve the rook to d1. Yeah, that's good. But the move makes us losing this game is e5. I think we need to take much more um, time and energy to think. So what is the plan of your opponent? Look at this file. Look at this f2 pawn, bishop h4. And when there are a lot of piece exchange, for example, the knight exchange happening, d4 knight exchange happening, and the knight is attacking this knight, the pawn is attacking this knight, the pawn attacking this e4. When there are a lot of piece exchange happening, we need to be more cautious than regular positional moves, because this is the moment usually a lot of tactical moves could happen, like this one. So e5 and bishop h4. This is you can call it like double attack. I would call it double attack because I'm attacking two pieces and the knight cannot protect f2. So this make us lose this game. So otherwise, it's a very good game. Keep doing great.